Hi, this is David Malkin with North Point Yacht Sales, and I'm here with Grady Byus and Laura Mahoney in the background. And we are coming to you live to talk about one of the cooler boats that has hit the market in a long time in the center console world, and that is the Caymas 26 HB. How you doing today, Grady?
I'm doing well. How are you, David?
I am okay. This has
Yeah.
been a long run of virtual boat shows, and I'm glad we're finally reaching the end. But I'm also glad to be out, kind of talking to people about what's a pretty exciting boat.
Yeah, that's I think some of the neat things that we bring to the water are boats that they're fun to talk about and we're pretty passionate about. So while it's been new to us, it's all been pretty fun and feels like home because we're happy to sit down and make these boat shows happen and have conversations anytime.
Absolutely, and I think the Caymas product is something that is pretty easy to get passionate about.
Hmm.
So, and let me just say, I know some of you that have been, logged in and getting ready to watch this were expecting to see Jack McGuire's face instead of Grady's smiling face. And shout out to Jack and Liz McGuire, who just had a baby 2 evenings ago, and Jack's home doing dad duty. So our hats off to Jack. Probably
Congratulations.
watching. Yeah.
Congratulations to his wife, Elizabeth, more than Jack, but Jack's in
Right.
here too.
Right, absolutely. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the 26. Very cool boat. I'm not personally a center console guy or didn't come into boating through that world, but having been on this boat, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Earl, as any of you who had the opportunity to listen to Earl speak earlier to Ken, he's a passionate guy that has done a lot of impressive things in the boating world and kind of came out of retirement for the Caymas thing to take another whack at the boating world. He saw an opportunity in the market. Boats, for the most part, have been pretty similar over the last 30 years, ever since the fiberglass revolution. It's all been deep V's, Sea Raymond Hunt stuff. And there is an analog way to do stuff and a digital way, and that's kind of how I like to refer to the Caymas brand. Is they have found the digital way and they're bringing it to a lot of you at home and on the water. They've used the Michael Peter SBVT stepped V ventilated tunnel hull design, which is found in a couple other boats, but they've really incorporated it very well in these hybrid boats, HB, to make a boat that's fast inshore, but then the ventilated tunnel that you can see there means that it has the soft ride characteristics of a very deep V, but it's an 18.5-degree dead rise boat back because you utilize that tunnel to make for a soft ride while also giving you some lateral directional stability when you're running the boat, which helps with the tunnels because sometimes some people know that those steps, excuse me, can make the boat skid out or hook turn, and that tunnel there does a lot to make the boat drive straight and just feel like it's on rails all the time. So as I say, it's a digital look at the analog world and pretty neat way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. This hull shape has been being developed over the years, and this latest iteration of it is really meeting with a lot of success. And people will find it on a few other boats, typically much bigger and much more expensive.
Mm-hmm. And Earl said that earlier, the ethos of this brand when he brought it out was that they wanted a boat that's going to be, it'll fit the bill for a hardcore fisherman, but it'll also provide friends and family that on the water entertainment. David, you and I have been talking a little bit about this boat to prepare, and the way that the boat converts from fishing to family friendly cocktail cruising, tubing, that sort of stuff, is really neat in that it can provide the best of both worlds in a way that a lot of boats can't. All boats, as we know, are compromises, but this is one that does a great job at fishing and then within a few seconds converts to the family time.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right, and I was just looking through a lot of the other competitors that are out there. There's quite a few that have already been in this sort of hybrid mode, low freeboard bay. Some of them capable of being a bit offshore. Certainly, this boat is. But one of the things that becomes very clear is that this boat to go from sort of the kind of family fun to fishability takes virtually no effort. the design that they've done in providing two huge, very stable, very easy to move around casting platforms, in addition to having some soft seating that does not require converting from one to the other. You're not forced to choose, okay, well, we're going to turn the front seating into a fish platform, go hide all the cushions below, dig all those back out. This boat has a fish platform forward that's bigger than almost all the others, yet does not require that kind of conversion. So people can sit around and or be standing around fishing, which is a really interesting kind of scenario for the guy that may be out with his family doing some fishing.
Yeah. As I said earlier, we kind of talk about the fact that boats tend to be a series of compromises when you're searching for the perfect boat. Usually the perfect boat doesn't exist, but something pretty close to it will. And this boat was set up so that it does convert, as you said. I mean, those live wells that we were just looking at in the back of the boat, those are insulated. So if you're not going fishing, pile them full of your favorite beverages. And look at that. You got a cooler right back there where you're going to sit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a nice plumbed in head inside of the console, and just everything they need from a creature comfort. So it's a boat that is going to do a little bit of everything. And people tend to look at it. If we look at the photo of the side of the boat where those, I guess, seagulls might be flying into the frame there. Relatively low.
Pelicans.
Yeah, pelicans. That's right.
Right.
It's a relatively low freeboard boat. And I know we're probably talking a little too long before we get into the video, but the low freeboard is something that's becoming very, very popular, and it's a great multi-purpose boat for fishing. And here on the inshore waters of the Chesapeake Bay, it's a great, great size boat and a lot of fun to do everything.
One of the things that I think makes the low freeboard very approachable on this boat is her natural sort of hull stability. So like when you're standing on that boat, and you can't really tell because we don't know, precisely where that guy on the bow is standing, but from all of our personal firsthand experiences on this boat, you can walk the gunnels of this boat and she is rock solid. I mean, that boat barely rocks, and moves. I mean, you're going to expect some, but for a 26-foot boat, it absolutely is a stable platform for not just, and again, safe platform, not just for if you're walking around fishing it, but just being on a boat that is a low freeboard boat. I think, it really eliminates that fear once you get on it, feel how stable the boat is. So as you said, we have a great video that Jack has put together. Why don't we cue that up and we'll give that a look-see. And then when we come back, we can chat a little bit more about this cool boat.
Great.
Hi, I'm Jack McGuire with North Point Yacht Sales. Here we are on the Caymas 26HB. If you know anything about Caymas, you know it is a Michael Peters design hull with a stepped V ventilated tunnel. They're a fuel efficient design, a soft ride, dry ride boat. You also have Earl Bentz, who's the president and founder of Caymas. You put the two together and you get a great product like you have here with the Caymas 26. Here we are at the helm of the Caymas 26. You see this boat is outfitted with Garmin electronics. It's also plenty of room for a second screen. Have a nice upgraded Edison steering wheel here. Nice high quality switching. You also have a Garmin VHF up in the electronics box. And you notice a nice robust T-top powder coated with kicker speakers, 2 aft, 2 forward, and then plenty of rod holders as well. Here we are up on the bow of the Caymas 26, where you see it's got a great casting platform up here, whether you're throwing a casting net or doing some light tackle fishing. There's also options for trolling motors as well. Moving back, you'll see the great seating the boat has to offer with backrests. It's got storage under the seats and in the floor. We've taken the cushions off, storing them on board the boat, creating a second casting platform up here in the bow area. The low freeboard this boat has to offer makes boating a fish nice and easy. Let's take a look at some of the great storage that Caymas 26 has to offer, whether it be the cooler in front of the center console, the in-floor 5-gallon bucket storage, or the port and starboard lockable storage areas, and all of it drains overboard. Taking a walk around the boat, you see the spreader light up forward on the T-top. rod storage, port and starboard side of the center console. Nice bolster, double helm seat. Yeti cooler tucked under the helm seat. And rod and cup holder storage everywhere you go. Here we are on the transom of the Caymas 26 HB, where you see the great fishability the boat offers with the casting platform, 2 live wells, and you also have great family features with the swim ladder on the back and this nice double wide seat. You can see this boat's fitted with a 300 Yamaha, but there's also other options available too. Thanks for taking the tour of the Caymas 26 with us. If you have any questions about the boat or would like to arrange a sea trial, contact us at northpointyachtsales.com. We'll see you out on the water.
That was a great walkthrough.
Sure was. I think Jack hit on a lot of the interesting points about the boat, and if you noticed him walking around and just saw how stable the boat was, you really get a sense of it.
Yeah,
And,
certainly.
Absolutely. So when we're looking at something like this, what sort of price points are we talking about for a boat similar to what we've just seen?
Sure. Well, Caymas tries to make the ordering process relatively simple. You do get many choices, like if you want power poles or not, which you saw in our boat. Here in the Chesapeake, that's not as commonly used, but we can certainly equip the 26 or the 28 with power poles or a forward trolling motor. You can get either boat as well with a what we call a second station or a cobia tower. So some of the photos that you'll see of the 28 or you saw earlier of the 28 have a second station that the boat can run with if you're doing cobia fishing or maybe some red drum spot fishing in the southern part of the bay. So it's great for that. But the boat we have here is on the water at about $119 with some show specials and incentives. So a great price to get you out on the water with just a really do anything style boat. Go anywhere, go offshore fishing at Ocean City if you're in the Maryland area. Or you can see right there, that's what's I believe is a sailfish. It almost looks like maybe a striped marlin, but George, who we'll hear from a little bit later today, has a fishing show and he goes offshore in these things all the time and has a blast and catches some big pelagics, and it's a neat platform to do anything you want.
I was speaking of the sailfish, and I don't think it's from that picture is not from a video that I was just watching. There's another fantastic review of the 26 that Saltwater Sportsman did.
Mm-hmm.
And in the span of an hour, they're offshore of East Coast Florida boating. Well, they didn't actually boat them. There's catch and release sailfish. And then they went inshore into 18 inches of water and were hitting on snook. And I mean, they get back to the dock, and these people are ear to ear grinning. And the interesting thing that for my takeaway on that was they commented on how Earl, who is been at this game a long time with much success, sort of goes at this from a standpoint of listening to what people are interested in and what's going to make a change, or what can affect people's a day and how can he make it better. And they were really super complimentary about how this boat addresses that. And I thought that was very interesting coming from people that are real users of a boat like this.
Sure. Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of boats on the market. The center console space is so overwhelmed with different options and different opportunities, which as a buyer, that can be a good thing, but it can also be a bit of analysis paralysis. And when we think of the Caymas brand, it's right up there with some of the top end brands that Earl has ever brought to the water, but then also that are here today. So if you're looking at a boat, really encourage you to come find us. This Caymas 26 is right in Annapolis, so we'd be happy to see trial anybody anytime. We also have a 28. But please, if you're thinking about buying a boat, and if it's something with a little bit more freeboard maybe, or if you're buying one of the brands that has been around for a little while and kind of a drink the Kool-Aid style brand, come challenge yourself to see this boat, come run it, and I promise you, you will be wowed. And we're here to help you make sure it's going to be a great experience on the water.
Yeah, well, I was gonna actually call out some brands, but I won't. But what I will say is, if you are, as Grady said, if you're in the market, and this is not meant to be a hard sell, but it's meant to be like some motivation for analysis, and you come and take a look at this boat and start to compare the not just fit and finish, which is excellent, and stylistically, this boat is absolutely gorgeous, but the real like little small details that go into a boat. I mean, things like fully backed screw systems on all the hinges, um, the insulated coolers, like Grady was saying, not just having helm seats that have a bolster that flips up, but look at the stitching and the way that that helm seat is put together. There are things like in the electrical systems. There's a type of switching system that brings on the battery systems that only Caymas is using. There's so many features in this boat that are not just on the surface. When you're saying, oh, it's a Caymas, it's whatever, it's 119, it's 129, however I've got it set out. Oh, that, how does that compare to an Everglades or a Pathfinder? But what you really need to do is start looking at the details of how this boat is constructed, and your eyes will be open. And then you throw in an SVVT hull system, so you've got 15-20% better speed and economy. I don't know. It just seems like a no-brainer to me, Grady.
Yeah, I agree. And Earl, when he decided to come back and build Caymas, I think gave himself a mission to make sure that there's a lot of details in this boat. And we heard him talk about earlier about how in the 341 and the 391, they're using hooker pumps, which are a very high-end water transfer system. There's lots of details like that in the 26 and the 28 too. So come take a look. I mean, he really has put a lot of energy and effort, and the whole Caymas team, as he said earlier, with an average of 30 years of tenure building boats with Earl. They do things right, and so come see it. Andy has a question about if Caymas has any plans for a 24. Not that have been relayed to us at this time, although I would tell you this 26, unless you have a garage you've got to fit it in, even with our breakaway trailers, it does a pretty good job of fitting in that mid-20s range, and not quite sure where you're on the West Coast there, Andy, but come try a 26 and see if that works for you, and maybe in the future we'll have a 24.
I think that's in the offing. When we did the factory tour back in December, remember they were still playing around, like had taken a 26 and were fiddling around with that to see if they could maybe make us, remember seeing that? I remember seeing a boat like basically like with some sections cut, and they were seeing how that could come together as a slightly smaller design.
Maybe you've heard it here first, Andy.
Yeah, I don't know, but Andy, our move is really into bigger, and the new 34 is what's come out, and that's their next project.
Yeah. And I would encourage anybody that's interested in finding out more info. These virtual boat shows will live on our website. There's a section in the header bar where you can find them. All the videos will live on our YouTube channel, North Point Yacht Sales' channel, or just give us a call. Like I said, we have the 28 that's in our York River Yacht Haven location. The 26 is here in Annapolis. We'll have a 341 coming in here within a few weeks, I think. So give us a shout and come see the boats. Come for a ride. We'd love to get you out. David, we're also going to talk a little bit about a test drive event that we have coming up. We don't have an exact date quite yet, but looks like the end of June. We're waiting on our 341 to get in, and it's a private test drive where you can schedule a time. We'll have the boat sanitized, and we'll make sure everybody is remaining socially distant and safe, but still plenty of good time to get out on the water. So stay tuned and watch out for that. If you're not on the North Point Yacht Sales newsletter, we'd love to get you on there and chat with you about these boats as they become available to run.
Yeah, absolutely. It's again, it's one of those comparative things. If you're in the market for one of these, you owe yourself a ride on this boat.
Yeah, 119. Come squeeze our arm and maybe a little bit more. Kenny's in the background, I'm sure, getting mad at me, but it's a great boat, and we're ready to get you on the water for this summer and have some fun.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I think that pretty much gives everybody a good sense of what the Caymas 26 HB is about. Again, as Grady said, if you have any additional questions, want to get out on the water, or even would like to come and do a private showing of the 26, which we have here in town now, definitely give us a call at North Point Yacht Sales or reach out to us via email or anything else. And we look forward to seeing everybody out on the water. Take
Great.
care.
Thanks, David.
See ya.